Is Apple already at its ceiling, or is there still room left to run? That's the question rattling around Wall Street right now, as Apple, the world's most valuable company, continues making bold strategic moves that are reshaping its technological future. But here's the uncomfortable truth that investors need to sit with: sometimes the best news is already baked into the price before most people even read the headline. Let's break this down carefully. Apple recently announced a landmark deal with Broadcom, one of the semiconductor industry's heavyweights. This partnership is significant and deliberately so. Apple has been on a multi-year mission to reduce its dependency on third-party chip suppliers, and this Broadcom collaboration is a critical piece of that puzzle. The deal involves the development of cutting-edge wireless components and networking chips, specifically designed to be manufactured right here in the United States. Apple framed this as a commitment to American manufacturing, but let's be intellectually honest, this is equally a strategic hedge against geopolitical supply chain risk, particularly given ongoing tensions with China and the fragility that COVID-era disruptions exposed so brutally. Now layer on top of that the buzz around Apple's next iPhone cycle. Reports are pointing toward meaningful upgrades in the iPhone 17 lineup, with enhanced artificial intelligence integration being the centerpiece of Apple's pitch to consumers who have been, frankly, underwhelmed by recent generational leaps. Apple Intelligence, the company's branded AI ecosystem, needs a breakout moment, and the next iPhone is being positioned as exactly that catalyst. The hardware improvements, combined with deeper software AI functionality, are designed to reignite what some analysts have called a super cycle of upgrades, where hundreds of millions of users on older devices finally make the jump to newer models simultaneously. So the fundamentals sound compelling. Strong partnership. Exciting product pipeline. AI integration. American manufacturing narrative. Tick, 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 tick. But here's where the analysis gets genuinely interesting and a little uncomfortable for the bulls. Apple's stock has already priced in enormous optimism. The company trades at a premium valuation that demands near perfection in execution. When a stock reflects best-case scenarios before those scenarios have actually materialized, you're no longer buying a company, you're buying a hope. And hopes, in financial markets, are extraordinarily fragile things. Consider this: Apple's services revenue continues to grow, which is genuinely impressive, and the Broadcom deal does provide long-term cost and strategic advantages. But the timeline for those advantages to meaningfully translate into earnings per share is not tomorrow, it's years away. Meanwhile, iPhone sales in China remain under pressure from rising domestic competitors like Huawei, which has made a remarkable technological comeback that deserves far more attention than it typically receives in Western financial media. The AI super cycle narrative is also worth scrutinizing. We've heard the super cycle story before, it's become almost a seasonal ritual in Apple coverage. And while it occasionally delivers, it has also disappointed repeatedly when consumer upgrade behavior proved more gradual than anticipated. If the iPhone 17 launch meets expectations but doesn't dramatically exceed them, the valuation gap between price and reality becomes very difficult to ignore. What Apple has consistently demonstrated, to its enormous credit, is an ability to surprise. Tim Cook and his team have an almost unparalleled track record of turning strategic patience into competitive dominance. The Broadcom deal isn't just a supply chain move, it's Apple planting a flag in the next decade of its hardware architecture. That matters enormously. But mattering enormously and being worth buying at today's price are two very different conversations. So as you watch Apple's next earnings call, the real question isn't whether Apple is a great company, it obviously is. The real question is whether the market has already paid tomorrow's price for a story that hasn't fully been written yet.